We actually have a CNN article. We have suspect arrested in shootings of 3 homeless men was already in custody for another crime, authorities say. Police in Las Vegas have identified the suspect believed to be responsible for murders of 3 of the city's homeless community who were shot and killed as they slept this week. Los Angeles Police Chief Michael Moore announced on Saturday the suspect was identified as Jared Joseph Powell, 33, and a black male who is a resident of Los Angeles, Moore said. Powell is also suspected in a fatal shooting during a robbery in San Dimas, about 28 miles east of Los Angeles. Moore added, Powell was already in custody in connection with the San Dimas shooting, authorities said Saturday. He was arrested Wednesday evening after the Beverly Hills Police Department conducted a vehicle stop the same day as the death of the 3rd homeless victim. The vehicle police believed was used during the Dan Damas robbery was identified as the same vehicle connected to the 3 homicides, Moore said. Officials do not believe that there was any connection between Powell and the victim of the robbery, Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert G. Luna said on Saturday. No motive has yet been determined. Quote, I am grateful that the suspect in this case is in custody and is no longer a threat to our community, Moore said. Los Angeles authorities said Friday the first killing in the city happened around 3 a.m. Sunday in an alley. The second occurred Monday shortly before 5 a.m. and the third person that was killed Wednesday around 2:30 a.m. The victims include 2 Hispanic men, ages 35 and 52, and a 62-year-old black man, Moore said. Moore said Friday each of the killings in Los Angeles area happened under similar circumstances, and each of the victims were believed to be alone and asleep when they were attacked. Police said that they believe a single man approached each victim as they slept, opened fire, and then walked away, according to Moore. Each victim was experiencing... Okay, no, we're not going to say this. So this is a new thing that I've just found out about that CNN is now doing. So instead, and this isn't just CNN, this is exactly what the left likes to do. They tried to change the language. So what people like to say now is, first we went from hobos. This is what we called homeless people. So we first called them hobos because of the fact that they're a homeless body, hobo, okay? So now we first started with hobo, then we said homeless, and then we said they're experiencing homelessness. That's what we're going with now, experiencing homelessness. It's chaotic and it's stupid. Stop changing the language. I'm just going to go back to our original thing and call these people hobos, because countless times these people are hobos, homeless bodies. They're homeless bodies that are on the street. That's what we call hobos. They're a hobo. So stop saying, CNN, this is to you. MSNBC, this is to you. Stop saying experiencing homelessness. They're not experiencing homelessness. They did not walk out of their home, lock the door, go to their car, say, wait a second, I forgot my coffee, turn back around to their house, and their house is gone. That's not what happens. Can we stop pretending as if this happens? No, this is months and months and months of you not paying the rent. This is months and months and months of you being irresponsible with your money. This is months and months and months of you not having a job. There's no way in heck that people are going to sit here and pretend as if people are just going to lose their house out of nowhere. There could be a small percentage of the people that are actually homeless that actually left their house. They came back and their house was on fire. That's a small majority of the overall homeless people. Instead, the majority of homeless people are on drugs, addicted to drugs, spending all their money on drugs, and that's why they didn't have enough money to pay for their house. They get their house taken away because of the fact that they spent all their money on the wrong things. You cannot have your budget be consumed with drugs and things that you do not need when you have necessary items that you need to afford. You need to afford your housing. You need to afford your electric, your gas, your water bill. You need to afford your car bill. If you pay for a car bill, you need to afford gas for your car. You need to afford so many other things, and then all of the extra stuff comes after that. But when you're addicted to things, you do not have the ability to actually think reasonably, and instead you spend your money on useless things. This is exactly what they're trying to say now. Instead of people actually doing all of the wrong things, like I just pointed out, they're just a victim of homelessness, a victim of experiencing homelessness, actually. So we're actually just going on and on. Like, stop with this made-up language. When you're homeless, you're homeless. When you're a hobo, you're a hobo. It's the same exact people. Stop pretending as if this is just a bad word to say. It's the same exact word. It's just another way of saying it. It's like, oh my God, Instead of saying that somebody's fat, you can say that you're easy to find. And I could tell that you eat a lot. Like, there's so many different ways of saying the exact same thing. Can we stop dancing around the issue here? The issue is that we need to actually focus on the people that have the addiction. We have so many outreach programs. We need to actually focus on the problem. That's the accessibility of drugs in our neighborhoods. If we have so many people with the accessibility of being absolutely 100%, you have 100% accessibility into drugs, then that's the problem. Therein lies the problem. If you have too much of an ability to actually get your hands on drugs, then of course we're going to have a drug problem in America when every single person and their mom can get a hold of drugs nowadays. That's the situation. Instead of us saying that we need to legalize more drugs, we need to delegalize more drugs. We need to make sure that drugs are not accessible to the general public, and we need to make sure that we actually do the right things to actually get the job done. And yes, it's not what we've been doing. It's a completely new, drastic idea that we need to come up with to save the people's lives. If people in certain cities have access to every single drug on the market, Narcan's the savior of the people that have actually overdosed. But if people have access to these horse tranquilizers, if people have access to cocaine, meth, if people have access to Oxycontins and heroin, all of these hardcore drugs that can kill you and will kill you, especially fentanyl, if all of these people have access to these things without any repercussions or pushbacks from anybody within their very government that they live in, how do you expect people to actually overcome their sicknesses or their addictions when their drugs that they're addicted to are so easily obtainable? How is this even a thing? So if it's so obtainable that you can just walk into any convenience store and buy that very drug that you're addicted to, how do you expect people to stop? What they need is it to be banned. Just like people that are addicted to pornography. We need that to be banned. Full stop. You do not need pornography to survive in your life. What you do need is you need self-control. And if you don't have self-control, then you're going to have external forces to control you. That's for the greater good of society. That's not government overreach. That's for a greater good society. If we have too many people watching porn, we will not have a population in the world. If we have too many people addicted to drugs, we will not have a population in the world. We need to make sure that our population is flowing and people are actually having babies. That's exactly why when people are consuming themselves on practices that are not flourishing for society, the government needs to step in and say, no, this is not allowed here. That's not government overreach. That's the government preserving society. If we do not have the government preserving society, we will not have a society. And that's a sad, sad reality of 2023 that we're living in.